is no doubt that we have, first of all, the clearest waters on God's earth, and scientifically proven to be so. And so when people come here, they don't understand there's 100,000 square miles of ocean here, and we call it the spa because that is how people feel when they get in it. So the kind of soothing feeling, the kind of expression that you get from just nature here in the Bahamas is a starting point. But the sun, sand, and sea is really the canvas. But all of that is the beginning. And then you find that the history of the people in the north, where they came up, many of them from the Carolinas that came to the Bahamas, is different from the history of the people in the center part, different from the people in the south. So you have this range and variety of people within the Bahamas that many people don't quite understand, that gives this flavor of being in a region as opposed to being kind of in a single monolithic country. So you get this variety. So when you move around, you get a sense of a whole group of people who have come together as one Christian nation and functioning in a way that is quite unique. So the feeling is what is the most important thing. We say the people in tourism, it is not so much what we do, not so much what we tell you, it's how we make you feel. There's no substitute for that, because that's really what we specialize in. We think of making people feel good about the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
If you had to characterize a couple things that are really unique and special for the Bahamas, maybe a type of food or a kind of experience or a kind of music that I've heard about, can you describe a few of those things that are distinctly Bahamian?
I will tell you, in the region, for a long period of time, we were talking about in the Caribbean region, some iconic things. Unanimously agreed in the Bahamas was everybody in the region says conch salad, because conch is such a staple of the people of the Bahamas, and it's hard for me to talk because my mouth is watering now. But the whole point of conch salad is being something, if you come to the Bahamas and don't have conch salad, you can't say you've really been to the Bahamas. But a lot of the other things that we are talking about in terms of the music, you will hear us talk about rake and scrape, you will hear us talking about junkanoo music. That is very special, but also what a lot of people don't know is a great deal of some of the music that many internationally known artists are now practicing started right here in the Bahamas.
What is it that makes the Bahamas such an ideal destination for faith-based travelers?
Well, first of all, we're very close to the United States, to North America, and large numbers of visitors come from that part of the world in the first place. So they are quite surprised also to find that we have such a variety of islands. There are so many destinations in the Bahamas. Many people know it as Nassau Paradise Island, but anybody who is the faith-based community will find the same kind of Christian feeling throughout the Bahamas. In fact, there are many people who will tell you on some of the smaller islands and lesser known islands of the Bahamas, it's deeper there and much more appreciated there. And so we invite, so we will hear people talk about places like Grand Bahama and Abaco and Eleuthera and Exuma and Anagua, and it goes on because we have so many islands in the Bahamas. But you find that fundamental basic faith in Christianity throughout the Bahamas, and our history really tells that. One of the things we talk about is if you look at the preamble to the Constitution of the Bahamas, there it is to say we are a Christian nation, and that is the basis and the beginning for all of that we do within the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
The Christian heritage is really entrenched in the Bahamas here. We've had a chance to see that as we're touring around here and seeing some of the beautiful churches and all of that. How would you say that Christian heritage is reflected in the people of the Bahamas here?
Well, there's no question that the entire heritage of all our people comes from that belief and that fundamental belief. In a country with 350,000 people, we have more than 300 churches as a starting point. More than 20 different Christian denominations here in the Bahamas. So it is something that we believe in, and we believe in passionately. Now, some of that has to do with the fact that so many of our people are scattered on so many islands, so they need their own community to develop it. But certainly there is a fundamental belief in that, and you see that really reflected in the way we deal with each other and how we treat one another. There is the story many, many years ago of the U.S. Navy coming here to invade the Bahamas, and suddenly were greeted with people in a kind of way that they were quite shocked and surprised. And so the natural greeting, the natural warmth, the smiles, the welcome that you find in the Bahamas is very much a part of how we were taught and how we were brought up, all based on our faith in Christianity. So that really is reflected in the people every single day, the people-to-people programs and the Bahama host programs, the service levels that you see. It's a fundamental part of us. So it isn't a matter of training, it's part of our natural upbringing.
The people that we spoke with, they said they were raised from being very young that you do not pass someone on the street and not greet them. And that's just really, it seems to be a very big part of the culture here. And
oh, you will be ostracized immediately in any part of this community if you walk in the morning into work and you don't say good morning to everyone. It's a big deal, because greeting and making sure that we have this wonderful relationship and feeling is very much a part of who we are. It's a godsend that tourism is our biggest business, because it fits in so well with the nature of the people of the Bahamas.